Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Jayo Risimhade, Jayo Risimhade, Jayo Risimhade, Jayo Risimhade. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, verse 8. So, the Sanskrit goes, Prakritim svam avashtabhya Visrijami puna punaha Bhutagramam imam kritsnam Avasham prakriter vashat Prakritim svam avashtabhya Visrijami puna punaha Bhutagramam imam kritsnam Avasham prakriter vashat. Prakritim svam avashtabhya Visarijami puna punaha Bhutagramam imam kritsnam Avasham prakriter vashat. Okay, so we go word by word translation. Prakritim, the material nature. Svam, of my personal self. Avashtabhya, entering into. Visarijami, I create. Puna punaha, again and again. Bhutagramam, all the cosmic manifestations. Imam, these. Kritsnam, in total. Avasham, automatically. Prakrite, of the force of nature. Vashat, under obligation. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Purport. The material world is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahat Tattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes, and into each universe the Lord again enters as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Man, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasham that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life in the past creation is simply manifested again, and all that is done simply by His will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and after creating different species of life, He has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved in it. Okay. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradaya Te Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goretvisha Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for the audience to be here. So we will talk today about this 8th verse. So it's on topic of material creation, and I would like to first ask for remotely or present Vaishnavas to give blessing, so I can tell anything valuable, at least some small part of realization that maybe you can get from this, or at least me. So I would like to begin with a story, because it's Kartik month is coming to an end slowly. Already 1 month is almost over, and this lila, I have no opportunity to speak Damodara lila, which is a nice opportunity. And there is one story. When one day Krishna was playing with his friends, playmates, and also Balaram was there, and all of a sudden they came running to Mother Yashoda, and they told her, Krishna has eaten earth, and she's constantly in anxiety of what Krishna is doing, if he's hungry, if he's doing something, and she has to chastise him. She's constantly concerned about him. And then she spoke to him. She picked him up and chastised him. Did you eat earth? She asked him. And Krishna denied. He's very mischievous. Sometimes he denied. He lied that he didn't. He even said, yes, I can open my mouth and prove it to you that I didn't eat earth. But then she asked him to open the mouth. And then when he opened, she saw the whole universe in his mouth. Right? So here I will somehow read it. So all moving, non-moving entities, outer space in all directions, mountains, islands, oceans, the surface of the earth, the blowing wind, fire, the moon and the stars, Ahankara, the reactions of karma, desires of different bodies, so everything in his mouth. And this is the moment that she also became confused. So she's used to Krishna being her child. She takes care of him, but now he presented himself as a controller, or the one who contains the universe in his mouth, and she was bewildered and agitated. There are in regards to relationships with Krishna, we have these 5 higher rasas, let's say. One is Shanta, which is some can say that it's more borderline case. It's more neutral case, but then it begins with Dasya, which is a servant relationship. Then it's Sakya, which is friendship with the Supreme Lord, right? Then it's Vatsalya, right, the parent, and then finally Madhurya, which is romantic relationship to Krishna. And these are very, very high relationships when they dedicate, in these relationships, devotees dedicate their service in a particular way to Krishna. And in case of Mother Yashoda, she has a parental relationship, and she is basically his authority in many ways, right? So she takes care of him in such regard, even though he's the Supreme Lord and he controls everything. And she was bewildered. So when she saw that Krishna had the whole universe in the mouth, she came bewildered. And this is the direction also that Bhagavad Gita, current section of Bhagavad Gita, from 4th to 10th verse in 9th chapter, where we are today. So 9th chapter is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge. And this part of Bhagavad Gita, or this section of verses, actually speak about Aishwarya Jnana, which means in this context that it presents the relationship of Krishna with the material world or the creation. And so maybe this topic I would go into a bit today. I researched also with help of Srimad-Bhagavatam about the different perspective, not different perspective, but on Vedic type of creation that is described. So as humanity, we take different. We have various takes, or we have various approaches to how we think everything was created, right? So it's our nature to make theories about everything, basically, but also this from time immemorial. When somebody is discussing with each other, they always think, it was created like this or like this. There is some philosophical discussions, or and fortunately we have shastras for this, right? Especially Vedic knowledge is very detailed, and the whole creation is very meticulously or very detailed in how is it described. Also, usually these philosophical discussions we have are usually contaminated by maybe some inner desires, or also our senses are imperfect, so we cannot really find a perfect solution. But Vedas can offer this. Vedic knowledge can offer this. And in Vedic creation, I here specifically refer to Srimad-Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, which are the texts that we read here in our society. And it starts, of course, it starts already in differentiation between spiritual and material world, but in the material side of world, it starts by Krishna glancing the pradhana, which is the unmanifested. So unmanifested potential of the whole material creation. This sounds very, very philosophical. But basically, without his glancing this pradhana, nothing would start. Right? It is described as nipples on the goat, on the neck of the goat. So even though that we normally think that from the nipples milk will come, of course, on the neck of the goat, this is useless in this sense. And also, material energy without Krishna's intervention or initiation is useless. So pradhana is this philosophical term. It means that everything is somehow compact in a single unit. All elements are inside, and nothing is differentiated. So there are no humans per se. There is no time in this space. And then when Krishna glances at this, then he impregnates living beings in this pradhana. And second thing is that time also. So he enters as time factor. And with these two changes, then things start to differentiate. They start to it's basically comes to the term Mahatvat Tattva, which is already a manifested side of material energy. So maybe I would like to use here this metaphor because it's interesting to know the difference. So there is, if you have you ever been to orchestra or in a hall where there is like dramas and you're in the hall, big hall, and then you see the show. Yeah. So it's usually like we have amphitheater, so it's the seats are a bit inclined, and it's like the atmosphere is usually at start it's very dark, and usually the musicians, orchestra have certain pool that they are in, so you don't see them at first. It's very dark, and then but you can know from knowledge. Okay, it's some instruments. There are some trumpets. There is some violins, contrabass, piano maybe, and we can imagine this even though we don't see them. But then the conductor comes, the one who comes in front of them and starts to swing his arms. And when he comes to the stage, on his spot, then the lights turn on, right? And then you see the musicians. You see they're seated. They're preparing their notes to begin. So some activation has happened of the scene, but no music yet. Right? But the next stage is with his swing of arms. They start to produce music, and the melody is harmonious, and some activity is happening, and you can hear this. You can see this. And this pradhana can be, in terms of material energy, can be, we could use this as an analogy that it's before the conductor comes and the lights, right? So there is something, but we don't really know, right? So its potential is there, but we don't really know who is sitting, where is sitting, right? We know that it's orchestra there, but it's unmanifested to our eyes. Then the second stage, which is Mahatattva, means that a conductor comes, right, and the lights turn up. Like it's like Krishna glances this pradhana with eyes, and then we see it's beginning to manifest it. The third stage, which we are in now, right, so the working of material energy, right? So in our everyday lives, right? So we see camera there, we see windows, this is all material energy, our bodies, this is all material energy. This is then already the interplay of the instruments, so the instrument starts to, so these are basically the three, of course this is a bit simplified, but these are the three stages. And yeah, so Mahatattva, in Mahatattva then the causal ocean, Mahavishnu, which is first expansion in material world, he lies down in the causal ocean, Karana ocean, and he then with exhale, he then through the pores, different universes arise. So each pore is, if you look pores, they are very small, right? They are like a millimeter on, but through his whole body, these bubbles of universes arise, and this is millions of different universes. Right. So, and with each inhale, again, this comes back to his body. So, in this sense, it's destroyed. Right? And again, if we look at a particular bubble, so each bubble is universe. And if you look at a particular bubble, then also Krishna as Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu, expands as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And from his navel, then the lotus flower blooms, and then Brahma is born on that navel, is born on the lotus flower. And yeah, Brahma is regarded as secondary creator in this sense, but he acts as like a gardener on the garden, which means that he puts the seeds which are already made by the Lord. He puts the seeds and then waters, take care. In this way, Brahma then works. And then is another expansion is Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So when the universe is there and where everything is created also in the universe, then he enters as Paramatma in each individual atom, enters in both non-living things and also living things. He's present in every living being's heart. And this is one verse from Bhagavad Gita is Sarvasya chaham hridisa nivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvaraham veva vidyo vedanta kridveda viteva chaham. And this describes that as the super soul, Krishna is within hearts of every living entity, and also from him comes our remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness, right? Is also a source of Vedas. He knows he's creator of Vedanta. And there is another relevant verse, which is Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshvaraha paramatmeti chapiyukto dehismin purusha paraha. So he is the transcendental enjoyer, which is who is present in every living's heart. And Upadrashta anumanta cha, this means he is the overseer, which means that he sees everything that is happening, and he is also a permitter. So at the end, he will have the final say. Whatever happens here, whatever movement, whatever people meet, whatever event happens, he will say final yes. Yeah, and I want to maybe speak on this point that we as individual souls, we are all unique. So unique in the sense that we have unique relationship to Krishna, primarily. Krishna enjoys this uniqueness with relationship with each of his particles, and because we are conditioned in the material world, this uniqueness is also manifested, but it's manifested mostly on the bodily platform, right? So that this feeling of uniqueness is then manifested, how our face looks like, how our intelligence work, how our minds, what is the nature of our minds, right? Even if we look at eyes of each individual, they're always different. They're not the same eyes. We have different fingerprints, right? There are no identical fingerprints. Even our fingers have all different fingerprints. I was also encountered in my past with some this even artificial intelligence model, which recognize the way a human walks. So each human has a particular walk, so you can identify a person by the way he walks. So even this is unique, right? But these are all material designations. But we as our relationship to Krishna is also unique, and this is what stays with us, even if we are here. We are forgetful of relationship to Krishna, but we still have this uniqueness, so we strive towards this love, special kind of love that only we have with Krishna. And and this uniqueness, this striving for somebody to know us like Krishna knows us is present basically in all stages of life. But one example I would like to give is in teenage years. So in teenage years we are in this rebellious stage, and usually this is seen when we are discussing with parents. So we want to be free, and we say you don't really know us, you don't really know me, dad or mom, you know. So we fight for this lack of understanding of our parents in some way. Later we realize that they still understand us in some way, but still our internal world is always a secret in a way. Nobody, even if we tell somebody about our internal world, it's still we cannot express everything. Always something missing. Yeah, the point here I wanted to make is that Krishna knows, right? So Krishna is the controller and overseer of everything. So he knows our minds, he knows our intelligence, our internal world. So this is a good meditation. That if we feel lonely in this way, right, or in this way nobody understands us, we can our minds can go then to Krishna, and we can contemplate this fact, and it can be very enlivening. But the other thing is that Krishna is present in every atom. But the other aspect is that Krishna also enters as time. So in each universe, so this is inside, Krishna is present as super soul, but outside he is present as time, time principle. And this time principle, we can observe that every moment, moments are constantly changing, new things are being created, some things are being destroyed. And this is how time shows. And also this is the other perspective, that if we just contemplate the nature of time, also this can bring some realizations. This can be maybe also treated more impersonal realizations in this sense. However, still our scriptures discuss that Krishna is time. Yeah. So but people. So this is of course Vedic's explanation from the Vedic perspective. How creation is being created. How creation is being manifested. But there are also different. I just shortly researched. So, for example, we are in the area on the west, in Germany, also Slovenia, where I'm from. This is usually Christian influenced. Right? So it's Catholic Christians, usually. It's the majority currently. And one personal story in this way. I was, of course, born as a Christian, Catholic. And because my parents were also somehow connected with it, I then, I'm not sure how the expression is in English, but I went to this school of religion. So it literally, in Slovenian it said verouk, which literally means faith study. So you go there since you're in first school when you're 8 years old, and then you stay there for 8 years. You go every Sunday. You go in these classes, and the priest then have some lectures, and you listen, do your homework. It's like regular school, but for Christianity. Huh? And I remember one specific moment. He said he was giving a lecture, the priest, and he said that God is in three forms. So the God is present as Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. These three aspects that we know. And I was so confused at that point. I was, how is this possible? It's one, but it's three. I couldn't figure out this aspect. But yeah, now if I look currently, this philosophy that I'm studying and trying to practice, this has so many expansions. There's Garbhoda Kashaya Vishnu, Karanoda Kashaya Vishnu, then Balaram for his expansions. So many expansions. So interesting. But yeah, in the Bible there is also this creation narrative. So the process of creation is also described. It's very, in comparison with Vedic, it's many verses and comments are very extensive. But in this sense, in the original this scripture, which is first book, Genesis, it's called, the creation is only on 2 pages described. And one is this 7 days, how God created, let's say, the world in 7 days. And first he created the light, then he created sky, then he separated waters from land, and so on. Yeah, on 7th day he also took rest. But yeah, what is interesting to me in this sense that from this we can get perspective in Vedic. As I mentioned before, he glanced, so he looked at material nature in its unmanifested form, and with this look, it started to manifest. But here in the Bible, he just says something. Huh? It's a bit different. But he says, "Let there be light," and then the light appeared, which is interesting in this case. And there are also, of course, other perspectives on how the creation came. Right? So basically, according to our belief system, every let's say it's a different story or different explanation or different science. So currently we have in modern science, they say about Big Bang, right? They say that this is the source, this is the truth. Scientist says this is how the universe was created. And what it actually means is that at first it was a chunk of very high energy, so very dense energy, and then this exploded and started to expand, in some way expanded, and it's still expanding. They say this. Yeah, and then the question is, of course, what was before this dense energy? We can ask, right? What was before? What happened before? And this is exactly what also Srila Prabhupada said in this regard. So he always comes directly to the essence of bhakti process. He said, okay, there was a chunk according to Big Bang, right? There was a chunk, but the first question might be, who made this chunk? And the next question may be, how the explosion took place unless there was some living being to explode it, right? We have experience of if there is some explosion, there is some person who explodes it. So how this occurred? Modern science can maybe have some theories, but it doesn't come to this point. And just as a side note, the concept of pradhana I mentioned before, so this is a dense, let's say unmanifested form. It's very similar also to Big Bang before it exploded. It's so even Vedic. It's some parallels are here, although there are also some differences in the logic or the mechanics. But it's still somehow compatible also. So back to this point on Srila Prabhupada getting to the essence. So he recognized in this Big Bang, so when his students were talking about Big Bang, he immediately recognized, yes, but what about Krishna? Where is Krishna in this picture? Okay, there is some process, some expanding, but where is Krishna? He's the root. And in Ishopanishad, there is a verse. There are three verses actually that talk about difference between vidya and avidya, which means in this context that we're talking now, which means difference between spiritual and material. And it is said that we should also know material things. We should know how material things work, right? We should have some logic, but the essence, of course, is the spiritual. Because also without the spiritual, material is just a dead matter. The analogy is given by Srila Prabhupada that if you put iron in a fire, it then comes with the abilities of the fire. It can burn, it's hot. But without that fire, iron is just iron. And in this sense, the spiritual, the Krishna, is the fire, which actually makes the iron as it is, makes it alive. Yeah. So if we go a bit on this verse, so 9.8, there is a word, puna punaha, right? Which means again and again. And it is said in the verse that Krishna again and again creates and then annihilates. So creates and destroys the material creation. And this is under his will. So he decides to constantly doing it again. So then I was also thinking a bit on this point, what he wrote. And idea is that material creation is Krishna created for conditional souls who want to be independent of him, right? So I'm just hypothetical question: what if everybody would come Krishna conscious? Would still material world exist? This is an interesting question. So he would think maybe, okay, ISKCON did his job, so I can close down now this material world. No need for it anymore, for this prison house. It is said that 3/4 of the whole area is the spiritual world, while 1/4 is material world. And then in one of the comments, maybe some acharyas in Prabhupada's comments, it is said that by this calculation, there are so many living entities, right? So there are 3/4. There are spiritual entities, but there are 1/4 which are conditioned. And yeah, as we maybe see some prisoners nowadays, we see some prisoners and we think, wow, they are suffering so much. They're in prison. They have no freedom. They eat the same every day, and they don't have TV. They cannot watch TV. They don't have mobile phones. They're so suffering, right? But yeah, we're also in the same situation, but we're here in the material world. Yeah, so again and again he creates and annihilates. But also, why is this? So if we take to the personal account, we also again and again we want to achieve happiness separate from Krishna. And we are doing this constantly, even if we suffer, even if we get huge amounts of suffering, we still go back to fruitive activities, and we do. We're trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. And in the scriptures, there are three kinds of activities that are mentioned. One is karma kanda, one is jnana kanda, and one is upasana kanda. So karma kanda is simply meaning that we are following on some scriptures. We're following scriptures so we can get good results. And we follow these scriptures. And then jnana kanda means that we are trying to achieve some kind of pleasure with philosophical investigations and similar. And then upasana, that we are trying to worship demigods. So we worship demigods so we can get desired results, whatever they can offer us. Depends on which demigod. And yeah, how to apply this in Western sense, right? So there is, we hear these descriptions of worshipping demigods, but we know here in the West, we don't, at least mostly, we don't worship any demigods. This can be maybe simplified, or put the same example in terms of celebrities, like some sports people, we put posters of different sports people in our walls, or we get the same haircut as the most popular musician. I remember when I was in primary school, so this is the first stage of school, one singer became very famous. One singer, it was before, after that, but he became famous, and then half of the boys in the class, we had the same haircut as him, right? And the style of dressing, even for Matajis, also these icons of beauty, they have the same makeup and dress, right? So this is a subtle way of worshipping. It's not really a arati doing for God Indra, but it's like very subtle. Or we maybe worship while talking with others. Did you see that celebrity? Wow, he's so good. He sings so nicely. So in this way, we do in modern terms. Yeah. And then the last point on this again and again concept. So as Krishna creates this world again and again to accommodate conditioned souls, the conditioned souls again and again strive to enjoy separate from Krishna. But how then to stop this cycle? And the easy answer is, which Prabhupada often gives, is through devotional service. Through devotional service we get. But in this context, we can say that our consciousness is so conditioned that we cannot just in one moment, we cannot just start to do devotional service and we get out. So also in this structure, we have to again and again put our minds to Krishna, right? So through practice, constant practice. And chanting is such a beautiful example of this, because our minds go everywhere during chanting. And what we will do later, we plan maybe for next month, or some past experience, somebody looked at us the wrong way and we're like, yeah. So this what our minds goes, but we have to again and again put to the sounds, to the mantras. Sachinandana Swami, he said he had a nice formula that in chanting there are three ingredients. There is intention. So we come to the chanting with the intention, okay, I will now associate with Krishna. So this should be our intention. Then is sincerity, which means that we have to give our emotion to the process. We go to, it sometimes devotees call it that we cry for Krishna, right? We recognize that we don't have better opportunity. That this is our only chance to be happy and to get also out of this mass of material creation. And then the third is attention. So constantly we give attention to the words, to the names of Krishna. And with this, practicing these three aspects, if we can do it, at least when I figured out I'm doing this, it's very, very, can be very intense in this way. Yeah. Yeah, and so this is, we can term this as also this process of again and again trying to put this Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, while we're not spontaneously thinking of Krishna. This is the practice that we have to constantly do. And Krishna manifests different species in this world. Different species, and we are born at certain species dependent on our consciousness. And in the comment of this verse 9.8, in the second paragraph, he mentions this evolution, but evolution in terms of scientific theory. He says that that this is false, because every living entities always appear at once. They are never they never went through evolution. And this logic behind this, that categories of living beings are also already known in advance. So there is cats, there is I don't know what Vedic says about dinosaurs, but cats, dinosaurs, there are humans, right? It says that there are 8.4 million kinds of species. This doesn't, of course, mean that they are present at the same time all the time, right? If they appear simultaneously, this means that they are somewhere in maybe some universe, there is some brand of it. But this doesn't mean that everything appeared at once. I investigated this point a little bit, right? So in case of, for example, dinosaurs, right? They are maybe extinct here, but maybe they are on some other world. Yeah. But Prabhupada says that true evolution is the evolution of the soul. So we move from different species of life, and hopefully we can reach human form of life, which is very conducive, because we can have such discussions, because we have intellect, we can understand, we can discuss the topics about Krishna. and it's a easier platform from which we can then practice devotional service. Yeah. So yeah, the fact of evolution, he says, the fact of evolutionists is that they have no information of the soul. Yeah. So maybe to conclude, so the three major points, let's say. So the benefit of knowing also the stories of creation is that we appreciate how omnipresent Krishna is. So in every step of the creation, Krishna is somehow present. And we can learn in this way also to see the world also that Krishna is present, that Krishna is behind everything. Yeah. From the causal ocean when he lies and he manifests the material universe to we go down to our hearts, that he's present with us all the time. And also this is a fact that we will be born again and again unless we start to fix our mind to Krishna and develop relationship with him. And yeah, in that way we can maybe associate with Krishna's personal form once if we achieve this stage through this process. So yeah, thank you for your attention. The hour is late. If maybe anybody has any questions. Then thank you for your attention. Srimad-Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.